Hey everybody. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about something I'm incredibly passionate about, and that is the Utah Jazz. Now, the Utah Jazz was formally started in New Orleans, thus the name Jazz, and that was back in 1974. The team only lasted 5 years before being bought out and sent to Utah in the year of 1979, and this last season was the 40th anniversary of the team moving to Utah, so 40 seasons of Utah Jazz basketball. Now, there is a rich history in Utah for basketball behind the Jazz, but before I get into that, I wanted to share the reasons why I am a Utah Jazz fan. Now, of course, I've been a fan since day one. This is a photo of me when I think I was about 2 or 3 years old, and yes, I have the full getup, including the basketball and some Michael Jordan shoes. Even though he wasn't on the Jazz, you gotta say that's a pretty sweet outfit. And here is me today. This was actually my wife and I's bridals. These are our photos. We took them outside of the Jazz arena because I'm such a big fan, and a lot of that fandom comes from, the fact that they're from my hometown. Just kind of that hometown pride, that Utah pride, and I love that team. Now to get into some of the history. So the history here, as you can see, is Karl Malone above and John Stockton sitting below him. These are arguably the two most famous Jazz basketball players in the history of the organization. They led the Jazz to two Western Conference championships in 1997 and 1998, but unfortunately came short, not being able to beat Michael Jordan in his greatness in those years, and never actually won an NBA title. Fast forward a few years to the early 2000s, there was not a lot of success, but then we came into the Deron Williams era. Now, Deron Williams is here listed left. He was drafted by the Jazz and spent quite a few seasons. They went to the Western Conference several times, but were never able to win a championship or even a Western Conference title. He unfortunately requested a trade and left the team. Following Deron Williams, we have Gordon Hayward here on the right. Gordon was as well drafted by the Utah Jazz. Never really came to anything, but was a beloved member of the team until he decided to leave, and there was a lot of backlash there. But now fast forward to the present. Here we have Donovan Mitchell center, left Rudy Gobert, and these two are arguably the faces of the franchise. Donovan Mitchell was the runner-up for Rookie of the Year and last year, and Rudy Gobert was the Defensive Player of the Year. These two have led the team to two playoff runs in the last two seasons. They upset the Oklahoma City Thunder last season, taking them to 6 games and winning that in Utah. And this year they did lose in the first round of the playoffs to the Houston Rockets, which was unfortunate. But there is a lot of hope and a lot of future in these two players. Now we come to the future. Now the future relies in free agency. These are D'Angelo Russell listed left, who's a free agent. Kevin Love listed right, who is not a free agent but is willing to be traded for. Now the Jazz believe they're just one player away from a phenomenal team. They're looking to add someone this offseason, and everybody in Utah hopes they do so that we can make a run at that NBA title and win our first ever. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you learned something, and go Jazz.